So we're wrapping up the end of August, and this is some of the stuff that I got up to this month. My name is Kevin, I'm an artist and a personal trainer, and these are some of the updates that I had for August 2025. I know myself, and I know that I always want things to move faster than they do, but August actually felt pretty good in the sense that I got a lot of stuff done. I feel like unfortunately I didn't get that much deep work done in August, where usually I like to wake up and write or paint or do any of these things that I find really effective for the long-term growth of the things that I'm working on. I feel like I made a lot of moves that really pushed the needle on my business. I am obviously still working on paintings. I've got this painting behind me and then another painting in my painting rack, and then I have a few commissions that I've started. But ultimately, I spent more time this month on content and personal training than I had in the months before. I started out in August pretty strong, making more intentional content than the content that I've made in the past. For a long time, I was making like flex and paint edits where I would just flex at my art, or I would live stream and paint while I was shirtless and maybe do workouts and that kind of thing. And I've been really reflecting on what is the most effective way that I can make content to reach the people that I'm trying to reach. And I've been trying to think about my audience a lot more. So I have been devoting time to releasing some free resources on my site, including a exercise principles and philosophies PDF with my program, and then I made a bunch of content that riffed off of those concepts, because the whole point of it is to promote a healthy lifestyle, whether that is in forming an artistic practice or forming a physical fitness hobby or something like that. And I'm finding that just having flex and paint is kind of this shallow thing that a lot of people don't really inherently get the message. I still want to keep doing it, but it's not the main emphasis of my content. And so far I'm thinking that this is the way that I want to move forward. I also spent a lot of time doing my course for oil painting, and I worked on the demonstration for that, which is not quite done, but almost there. And I still feel like I'm figuring out my niche. I don't know exactly the way that this might move forward. I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, you should split up your content, you should do one site for painting, one site for fitness, one account for painting, one account for fitness. And so far, I don't know that that's the best move for me. I feel like I'd rather have everything under the umbrella of my brand, so to speak, where it is about this overlap of art and fitness. Because I think the overlap is significant in that we recognize that doing things like self-improvement for our art, our bodies, are long-term processes where we have to implement a correct system so that we adhere to the program or the practice. We also have to recognize that they're about long-term growth. You're not gonna just wake up one day and be a master at painting or have a six-pack because you did one push-up or one crunch or drew one line or any of these other things. And I've been thinking a lot about advertising in August, and advertising has kind of been this boogeyman for me for a long time. I was like, I'm just gonna make stuff and people will come to me. Advertising is kind of a part of life when you have your own business. I'm recognizing that if I have a service that I think is immensely valuable, particularly helping people get in shape or helping people add warmth and color through paintings to their life, the onus is on me to provide that value to them and to show you, yeah, this is like something that you probably want. And I think I used to hate advertising for the sense that it was this thing where it feels invasive, but I have thought lately that the onus is on us. If we have something of real value that we're trying to offer, we really need to be the ones to distribute that. I was thinking about that because I had a call with one of my personal training clients, and he was telling me about a scenario where he was able to now more easily lift something out of his car. And I was like, yeah, it pays to be jacked. I joke about that all the time where I'm like, oh yeah, well, worst case scenario, at least I'm jacked. And it's one of those things that I think there is insane value in being physically fit. And if I hadn't been advertising or been talking about the stuff that I do on social media, he and I probably wouldn't have worked together, and I'd like to think that he would have made the jump with somebody else, but it's this thing that now he's reaping those rewards. And so I try to think about that in terms of advertising. You know, if I just sit on my hands and I just say, yeah, you have to come to me, then I am neglecting helping a significant amount of people. And it's the same thing for art. I haven't quite figured out how to translate this yet. So I've shot some simple ads that basically describe this concept of saying, hey, if you need art for your space, if you're local, I'm happy to bring you some, show you some stuff. We can figure out what you like, do some consultations, and then get some art on people's walls. Because I do think there is significant value in having art in your space, but I haven't quite figured out the best way to translate this to me literally going and helping somebody add some paintings to their space. I did meet up with a client, showed him some paintings. Obviously, still selling paintings and making that happen, but I would love to maybe even go door to door and identify if people are in a space where they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what art I would put up. Help me. And I'm gonna really try going door to door and honestly see how that goes. I have never done this before and I have to not talk myself out of it, but I'm gonna just try and see if people want me to help them add some art to their space. And speaking of which, I have tried my hardest to think about how I can engage locally. So I spent some time going to different cafes and I'm hoping that I'll have a show up in the Cartel on Camelback at some point in September. I was talking with the owner of Ollie Vaughn's and I'm hoping that I can slate my art for that space in October. And then I also set up my tent for art shows in the upcoming fall season. And I've been engaging with people on my Instagram. Anytime anybody ever follows me for fitness content, I shoot them a DM, or at least I try to. Beyond that, I've also worked on more of my packages. So I have been enrolling more clients in my 90-day fitness package. And I'm trying to offer Flex and Paint as a package, as well as painting courses. And one of the other things that I'm thinking a lot about this month is scarcity mindset, in that in the exact scenario where I might go put my art in a cafe, I have this inclination to go think like, oh, I really should hold on to this stuff because what if I have a better opportunity somewhere else? What if I need them for art shows? What if I need them so I can showcase my work to a local patron or something like that? And this is kind of foolish. I don't really get why my brain goes there, but I always have this mindset where I really want to just keep my stuff to myself so that I can use it in the right opportunity. But honestly, having my art out anywhere is much better than just hoarding it in my apartment. I have like 30 paintings at this point. I'd love to get it out of here because I think having a flow of art in and out of your space is really the number one thing that you can do. I'm hoping that it pushes the needle for my business as I continue to just get my work out into the community, go to these shows, sell more stuff online, so on. And on that note, if you're interested in buying a painting, I have the link in my bio where you can go see my art shop. Please check it out. I have prints as well as original works for sale. And I'm also still accepting new personal training clients. So if you're interested in enrolling in coaching, shoot me a DM or feel free to use one of the forums on my website. I've also opened up my calendar in a couple different capacities. So if you're interested in just talking about your fitness or your personal training goals, schedule something there. If you want to learn about art classes as well, I have a way to do that. And then if you're interested in getting a commission, we can talk about that via my scheduling links all on my website. And this video is part of my blog in the sense that I'm trying to send out video updates in conjunction with each of my monthly recaps. So feel free to subscribe to the updates on my website. All you have to do is put in your name and your email, and I will continue to send you updates like these. Thanks for watching.